Have you ever found yourself in that quiet, heavy moment, just sitting there, wondering if it's all worth it? You've poured your heart and soul into something, a dream, a relationship, a project, and the finish line seems to move further away with every step you take. The world feels muted, the colors aren't as bright, and a whisper creeps into your mind. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. It's a feeling of exhaustion that goes bone deep, a weariness that sleep can't fix. It's that moment when you look at how far you have to go, and it just feels impossible. I've been there. I remember staring at a mountain of rejections, each one feeling like a personal verdict on my worth. The temptation to just pack it all in, to choose the easy path of quitting, was overwhelming. In those moments, it's easy to forget why you even started. It's easy to believe the voices of doubt, both internal and external. You start thinking, maybe they were right all along. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. The world keeps spinning, people keep moving, and you feel stuck, alone in your struggle. But here's something I want you to hold on to. That feeling, that moment of wanting to give up, is not the end of your story. It's a crossroads. It's a test not of your strength, but of your resolve. And here's the secret. Every single person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, has stood at this exact same crossroads. The difference isn't that they didn't feel the urge to quit. The difference is what they chose to do in that moment. They found a reason, just one small reason, to take one more step. Have you ever whispered to yourself, "What's the point of believing anymore?" That question is heavy, isn't it? It hangs in the air when a prayer feels unanswered, when a promise feels broken, when your faith in yourself, in others, or in the future starts to crumble. It's the question that surfaces when you've given your all, and all you've gotten back is silence or struggle. You look around, and it seems like your belief isn't making a difference. The challenges are still there, the hurt is still real, and the goal is still out of reach. This is what I call the desert of doubt. It's a barren landscape where your motivation dries up and your hope feels like a mirage. In this desert, it's easy to feel completely isolated, as if you're the only one who has ever felt this profound sense of disillusionment. But you're not. This is a common, deeply human experience. It's the point where faith isn't a feeling anymore. It becomes a choice, a very, very difficult choice. It's the moment of truth where you decide if your belief is strong enough to survive the absence of evidence. So, what do you do when you're standing in that desert? You have to find your oasis. It might not be some grand, miraculous event. Often, it's something small. It could be a conversation with a friend who reminds you of your own strength. It could be rereading an old journal and seeing how far you've actually come. It could be a song, a quote, or just a quiet moment of reflection where you reconnect with that initial spark, that why that set you on this path in the first place. Let's talk about the anatomy of quitting. It rarely happens in a sudden explosion. It's more like a slow leak. It starts with a small disappointment, then another, then a setback. Each one pokes a tiny hole in your resolve. You start making small compromises. You skip a workout. You put off that difficult conversation. You decide to start fresh tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and the pattern repeats. These small surrenders accumulate, and before you know it, you're not just taking a break. You're building a new habit of avoidance. This slow fade is so dangerous because it's subtle. You don't realize you're giving up until you're already halfway out the door. It's the quiet erosion of your commitment. Think about a river carving a canyon. It's not one massive flood. It's the constant, steady flow of water over stone, day after day, year after year. In the same way, the daily trickle of doubt, procrastination, and small compromises can wear down even the strongest determination. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to stopping it. The key is to plug the leaks as they appear. Don't let those small disappointments fester. Acknowledge them, feel the frustration, and then address them head on. Did you have a bad day? Okay, it was one day. It doesn't define your entire journey. Did someone criticize your work? Use it as feedback or dismiss it if it's baseless, but don't let it become a new negative belief about yourself. By dealing with these small things immediately, you prevent them from accumulating and creating an overwhelming pressure that makes you want to quit. It's about active maintenance of your mindset. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is, if it's meant to be, it will be easy. This is a fantasy. Anything worthwhile, anything that leads to real growth and fulfillment, will test you. It will demand more from you than you thought you had to give. The journey is supposed to be hard. The hardness is what forges you into the person capable of achieving the goal. The resistance is what builds your strength. A ship is built to withstand storms, not to stay in the harbor. Your character is built to withstand challenges, not to avoid them. When we expect things to be easy, we set ourselves up for failure. The first sign of difficulty becomes a signal that we're on the wrong path. We think, oh, this is hard, so I must not be good enough. Or this must not be the right opportunity for me. We misinterpret the challenge as a stop sign. But challenges are not stop signs. They are direction signs. They are telling you, this is the way. Growth is happening here. Keep going. Embrace the difficulty as part of the process. Instead of wishing for it to be easier, wish for you to be stronger. Instead of asking for fewer problems, ask for more skills. See every obstacle not as a barrier, but as a curriculum. What is this challenge trying to teach me? What skill am I developing by overcoming this? When you reframe difficulty this way, it transforms from a source of despair into a source of power. You're no longer a victim of your circumstances. You're a student of your journey, actively learning and growing with every step. Let's re-examine our definition of failure. We're so afraid of it. We see it as a final judgment, a brand on our identity. But what if failure isn't the opposite of success? What if it's a part of success? Think about it. You can't learn to ride a bike without falling off a few times. You can't become a great chef without burning a few dishes. Every master was once a disaster. Failure is simply data. It's feedback. It's the process of elimination that shows you what doesn't work so you can get closer to what does. The moment you truly fail is not when you fall down. It's when you decide not to get back up. Quitting is the only true failure. Everything else is just a lesson in progress. So, when you stumble and you will stumble, don't waste time beating yourself up. Don't wallow in the what-ifs or the should-haves. Instead, ask the powerful questions. What did I learn from this? How can I do it better next time? What was the valuable insight I gained from this experience? This shift in perspective is liberating. It removes the fear and paralysis that comes with the possibility of failing. When you're not afraid to fail, you're free to take risks. You're free to be bold. You're free to experiment and innovate. You start to see your journey not as a tightrope walk where one misstep means disaster, but as a laboratory where every experiment, successful or not, brings you closer to a breakthrough. So, go ahead. Give yourself permission to fail forward. Right now, I want you to do something. Close your eyes for a moment. Go back in time to the very beginning of this journey you're on. Remember the excitement? Remember the passion that lit you up? Remember the vision you had for the future? That person, that spark, is still inside you. It might be buried under layers of disappointment, fatigue, and doubt, but it's still there. Your job right now is not to create a new fire, but to find the embers of that old one and gently blow on them. What was the original why? Was it to provide a better life for your family? Was it to create something beautiful and share it with the world? Was it to prove to yourself that you could do it? That why is your anchor. It's your North Star. When you're lost in the storm and the waves of doubt are crashing over you, your why is what you hold on to. It's more powerful than any temporary setback or feeling of frustration. It's the deep, meaningful reason that fuels your perseverance. Reconnect with that feeling. Write it down. Put it on your wall. Make it the wallpaper on your phone. Remind yourself of it every single day, especially on the hard days. Your why has to be bigger than your excuses. It has to be more compelling than the comfort of quitting. When you feel your motivation wavering, don't focus on the how or the what. Go back to the why. Let it fill you up again. Let it remind you that this struggle has a purpose. This fight is worth fighting. Let's be practical. Sometimes staying motivated isn't about grand philosophical shifts. It's about small, actionable steps. One of the most powerful things you can do when you feel overwhelmed is to break it down. That huge, insurmountable goal that's paralyzing you, forget about it for a minute. What is the one tiny, manageable thing you can do right now? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Can you send one email? Can you write one sentence? Can you do one push-up? Can you put away one dish? The goal is to create momentum. An object at rest stays at rest, but an object in motion stays in motion. Quitting feels tempting when you're at a complete standstill. But once you start moving, even just a little bit, it becomes easier to keep going. This is the power of small wins. Each tiny action you complete is a vote for the person you want to become. It's a small deposit in your confidence bank. These small wins build on each other, creating a chain reaction of progress that can pull you out of the deepest rut. Don't underestimate this. You don't need to have the whole path figured out. You just need to know the next step. Focus on winning the next 5 minutes, and then the next, and then the next. Before you know it, you'll look back and see that you've covered more ground than you ever thought possible. The journey of 1,000 miles doesn't just begin with a single step. It's completed by a long succession of single steps, one after another. So, what's your next one? Another trap we fall into is the comparison game. We scroll through social media and see everyone else's highlight reels. We see the promotions, the engagements, the perfect vacations, the successful business launches. And we compare their curated moments of victory to our messy, behind-the-scenes reality of struggle. This is a recipe for despair. It makes you feel like you're falling behind, that everyone else has it figured out, and you're the only one who's struggling. It is a complete and total illusion. You are running your own race on your own track, at your own pace. Looking at someone else's lane will only slow you down and make you stumble. Their journey is not your journey. They have different strengths, different weaknesses, different starting points, and different finish lines. The only person you should be competing with is the person you were yesterday. Is you today a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser, a little bit more resilient than you yesterday? If the answer is yes, you are winning. Unfollow the accounts that make you feel inadequate. Mute the voices that fuel your self-doubt. Celebrate your own progress, no matter how small it may seem. Did you get out of bed on a day when that felt impossible? That's a win. Did you choose a healthy meal instead of junk food? That's a win. Did you finish one task on your to-do list? Win. Start tracking your own victories. When you focus on your own growth, the achievements of others cease to be a threat and can even become a source of inspiration, rather than a source of envy. Remember that you are not an island. One of the worst things you can do when you feel like quitting is to isolate yourself. Shame and doubt thrive in silence and secrecy. You pull away from people because you don't want to be a burden, or you're embarrassed by your lack of progress. But this is precisely when you need your community the most. You need people who can remind you who you are when you've forgotten. You need people who can lend you their strength when yours is gone. Reach out. Call that friend who always knows how to make you laugh. Have coffee with a mentor who has been where you are now. Join a community, online or in person, of people who are on a similar journey. Share your struggle. You will be amazed at how many people respond not with judgment, but with me too. The simple act of speaking your struggle out loud robs it of its power. It brings it out of the darkness of your mind and into the light, where it suddenly seems much smaller and more manageable. Vulnerability is